What I'm gonna do? First, I'm gonna fix my hair, and then I'm gonna pull an Olin Rogers and tell you guys a story. Alright, so let me give you like a little bit of a premise for this story. You know what, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now, this was back in high school. I think it was my sophomore or my junior year. Now, at that time, I was starting to get over the whole awkward phase. But I wasn't fully out of the phase, like, I don't know, part of my left leg was still like stuck in it since I could pull it out. Yeah, that was a great, no. But I had this crush on a girl all throughout high school. So let's name her Sarah. How does that sound? Yeah, sure. Well, Sarah and I, we sort of talked a little bit, not a lot, since I was still the awkward kid. Yeah. But anyways, do keep in mind she's a pastor's kid, and so am I. And all the pastors everywhere are like this, no matter where they are or who they are, this. And my family heard that, oh, hey, half of their family is sick, so we might as well make food and bring it over to them. Yeah! And the only thing that was going through the back of my head was, my God, this better be the best food on the entire freaking planet, because if it's not, I'm gonna give off a bad impression, I'm gonna look like I'm poor, I'm not gonna. So my mom makes this tater tot casserole, and it's okay. I mean, her tater tot casserole, it's good. It's edible. You can eat it. And after that part of the panic attack was over, my parents, just as they're about to leave, they yell out to me, "Hey, you're coming with us. Get dressed." Pretty much, this has now become stage 2 of my panic attack. I felt like my ears were on fire, felt like my eyes were coming out of my head, it felt like my insides were becoming my outsides through both ends. So I go into my room and I look through my dresser and I pick out what I thought was just like, this is perfect. She's gonna be like, oh my God, it's him. He looks so good. And all I went in was like a jeans and a t-shirt. No, that was pretty much it. That is all I went in. That was the best thing I could possibly come up with. So I asked my parents, hey, can I drive? Because I wanted to sort of show off a little bit, you know, roll up in our 23 MPG Highway Volvo, just bam, I can drive, I'm in high school. So I get into the car and I'm driving. I'm like, nothing can go wrong. I've got this like just perfect outfit. I'm doomed. But the whole way that I was going there, I had her in the back of my head. I'm like, crap, what's gonna happen? Like, it was all building up. It was this panic attack number 3. And that clouded my head so much that I completely drowned out the directions I was getting from my parents after they were screaming, you got to turn left, and we got lost. And after about an extra 20 minutes of getting back on track, we finally got there. And yeah, we pulled up, and bam, I was at her house. And at that point, I was sitting in the back seat just doing this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to give food to my future wife. So I sort of like sat there and gave myself a little pep talk. I'm like, you look awesome, dude. Like, your hair is like on point, and I didn't even wash it that day. Like, I've got this. So I step out of the car and I start walking up to the door, and we ring the doorbell, and we sat there for like 2 minutes. And that whole time I was like, oh, thank God they're not home. I don't have to suffer through this and just have a 4th panic attack. But their cars were still there, which I thought was kind of weird. And then they answered the door, and it was her mom. And she's like, oh, hey, come on in. So I slowly stepped through the door, and my parents are screaming at me to hurry up. And they lead me into their living room, which is also connected to their kitchen. So I walk in there, and I just sort of stand there, motionless, looking around. I'm like, oh God, where is she? Maybe she's not home. Maybe this is a good thing. So through the time I was standing there, like, the parents are talking and everything, and just all that stuff, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like. And I do remember at one moment, like, I just took my hands out of my pockets. I'm like, I shouldn't have these in my pocket. I just feel this is wrong. I don't feel like I should be here. And while the parents are swapping their sentences verbally, I'm just sitting there hanging out, listening to what they gotta say. And then I hear the sound of one of their 12 children run into the, yes, they had 12 children, run into the room with like 5 others. And of course the mother like sort of corrals them back into the room. It's like, come on kids, go back in your room, or like, we have guests over, just go. Now let me explain to you how their house is sort of like architecturally laid out really quick because it's kind of important. How their steps work is from the basement, you go up and then you see the door to your right and then you have to turn around, go up another half flight, and then that's when you hit the kitchen. And I hear these light footsteps like creeping up the stairs. And I look over and it's her walking up the stairs, and at that moment my heart stopped. And the first thing I noticed was her hair is all like frizzy and messed up. She looks like she'd just woken up from a nap. And the first thing that was going through my mind is like, aw. And right as she's walking up those first flight of steps, she turns around, sees me, and she just freezes. She doesn't move at all. Have you ever been like driving through the night and you catch deers in your headlights and they just sort of sit there, stare for a second, and then dart off? She did exactly that. She darted right back downstairs. Like, I've never seen a human being move that fast before, and she was gone. I'm like, where'd she go? And of course, like, my heart had nearly like exploded from the moment that I caught eyes with her, because, for obvious reasons. And about 4 or 5 minutes later, she comes back upstairs, and her hair is like, it looks like a professional did it. Let's just leave it at that. It looked perfect. And I remember this part so vividly. What she did was she came upstairs, she went to the refrigerator, got out specifically a Diet Coke, and came over and sat on the couch to my right. She was like, what, about maybe 6, 7 feet away from me. She was just drinking her Coke and just staring at a blank TV screen. And of course I was still sitting there all awkward with my shoulders in, not moving, sort of looking around, still having another panic attack. And because both of us were so awkward and shy at that age, literally the entire time, neither of us said a word to each other. Not a single thing. And after that, they're like, thank you guys for dropping off the food, you're great! And we left. And that was it. And the only thing that was going through the back of my head at that time was like, crisis averted. There's one last thing I remember just before I left out the door. I looked back up to the flight of stairs, and I saw her, like, peeking over the edge, like, trying to see if I was leaving yet. And at that point, my face, like, felt like it was, like, submerged underneath lava because it was that freaking hot. And I'm pretty sure my face went like a bright cherry red. And so at that point, we left their food there, and that was that. Thank you guys for listening to my story. And I do have other stories like and unlike this, so if you guys want me to do more, just message me. How to make noodles the fast way. Wow, that was quick!